OutOfThisBinary. Hey, it's Jo, and this is my beast.
Hi everybody, hi OutOfThisBinary. I want to say my name, but I'm in between. So hello, I'm Beast today.
Just Beast. Beast has recently come out as transgender and as non-binary.
Anti-binary.
Anti-binary. Pardon me.
Both.
And using they and them pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we should all talk about transphobia together. So, now I got nervous.
Oh, it's okay. I can fill some time.
Okay.
So Joe's gonna, tell a story, and then I have, I guess, a response to that, which includes, a demonstration of the kind of activism I'm using to combat transphobia now as, an out member of the trans non-binary community. And previously, when I was closeted, I was doing kind of work as an activist. So I just see an interesting side to things and a difference, I guess, between making space as an ally and demanding that space for oneself.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the story, so I'm going to tell a story about how transphobia, experience with transphobia that I keep having this experience. With medical professionals and particularly with mental health professionals like therapists. As you all, maybe you know, I've been trying to find a therapist, but having a really hard time finding one. And the reason is because of, I think because of transphobia. So what happens is I go into the office and I sit down with the person, the therapist, or I just talk to them on the phone even. And I say, my name's Jo, my pronouns are they and them. It's really, really important that you use the right pronouns because misgendering me is, inflicting, you all know, it's, a little bit traumatic to be misgendered, it hurts. And so in a therapy setting or a medical setting where it needs to be a safe space, even one misgendering, one wrong pronoun makes it not a safe space suddenly. Mm-hmm. And for me, being in the middle of trying to heal from trauma, to be re-traumatized all the time, not helpful. Mm-hmm. So anyways, so I tell this to the therapist, the person, and the response that I get almost all the time is that they say they'll say, well, I try very hard to get pronouns correct, but I definitely make mistakes sometimes. And it's this word mistake that I think needs to be the word transphobia or misgendering, because it's not, what I see is that it's not really a mistake because it happens too often. It's a systematic misgendering. Mm-hmm. It's not a mistake. It's a refusal to see. Mm. So for me, I guess my story is to tell you about transphobia doesn't always look like people saying, it sometimes looks like people trying to be accepting. But for me, how even one mistake is a refusal of this person, they're cis people usually. Mm-hmm. It's a refusal of that person to see me as not a cis person, as who I say that I am. It's instead of taking me at face value, taking me at my words, it's inflicting all of these I don't know, that misgendering it it's an assumption of body means this because it's associated with these parts and this pronoun, and so the pronoun comes out the she pronoun, and it I just am not I just can't call it a mistake anymore. I can't let people call it a mistake, these therapists, medical professionals, because it is such because it happens so regularly that it's on purpose. It is people not being willing to change their thinking, to do that work, to change, to eradicate transphobia from inside of them, the unwillingness to see people as something different than the binary male and female genders, and the stereotypes that are associated with those genders. So there you go.
Binary genders. Yeah, suddenly I got scared too, and now I need filler. But I guess let me just kind of riff off of it for a second to get into my space, because to me, when I hear, transphobia does fit with the act of misgendering, and that is the word that we're using to replace mistake. But for me, I feel like it is like an outright like act of violence against someone. And like I think what you were kind of saying towards the end, like cis hetero people who are living in the standard, which is my neutral way of talking about the systems that, you know, enclose us. Oh fuck, I forgot what I was saying. I knew it was gonna happen.
That's okay.
Oh, but it's this transphobia is an unwillingness to accept somebody for who they say they are, whoever they say they are. Like, it's just, you're like, people are blinded by whatever they see. So I guess blinding is going to be my jumping off point to talk about like how I experienced transphobia, and going back to like, again, being recently out. And I guess like blinding was my word because I think in the last month, I'll say, I have used my current like in progress dead name, I guess I'll say, as an intro, but I've attached like my pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I go to the Evergreen State College, and this is a privilege that I have on my campus where in certain classroom spaces where it is safe to do so, professors acknowledge and say like, introduce yourself, and one has the opportunity. So I've done this a few times. The most recent 2 times were when I went to the clinic, and I was very nervous. I felt very trans walking to the doors because I knew I just started growing out my intersex beard, and I also have breasts, and I also am in a very in-between place. So I knew that it was coming. Like, I knew that I was the only transgender person there in that moment. And I got up to the counter. I said, hello, my appointment is this time. This is my name. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. And this blinding happens where it's just this look of unrecognition. Like, I know that you folks know who are watching this, so it's just they don't understand the concept. So then I guess what I'm saying is like I'm coming to these spaces, I'm demanding this space. So then I recognize this look, it's very easy to see, and some of my notes say like what I did then, and I've done this twice now, is like I do a demonstration because the work is so excruciatingly complex that it has to be like put into these very like reductive, maybe rudimentary, like simple places. Like, so my sentences about me demonstrating my pronouns, they came into the clinic for their appointment. Would you please help them? And like, I guess what I wanted to like tie in is just like kind of the standards, assumption, or expectation of a trans person to always be willing to do that work. And to a certain extent, like, I wanted to talk about how I, you know, initially got familiar with making gender neutral space on behalf of Joe when they started using those pronouns. And just like, it's very different to ongoingly fight for their spaces because like they said, it happens every day in one way or another, except now in like the last week, I don't think it's happened. Well, kind of.
I'm isolated, staying in a cabin all by myself, and so I don't get misgendered right now.
Well, except for the triad, not quite all by themselves, but so I guess my point before I get derailed was just that like there's an expectation for trans people to do this work, and I know for me, being formerly an ally and now like out to myself and trying to take up this space, there is only a certain amount of work that I think a trans person can do if they are able, if it is safe for them. But then at that point, it is up to whomever. Like, my other conversation was with the bud tender, and I just like kind of burst out and corrected Joe's pronouns because I just couldn't take hearing the incorrect version anymore. And he and I ended up having a very big, large conversation that, like, he understood and he apologized and said that he didn't know. And while I fully support our angst and us wanting to take up that space, I guess what I'm saying is, like, a former ally and now somebody who's in it is, like, if you're able, like, and you can have the patience to do a demonstration, I've been pleasantly surprised. And what was my quote at the end, is that not one person can do all the work. It takes all of us to try. So that's kind of my feeling with transphobia. Like, absolutely fuck it and everything. And like, no, we shouldn't have to do any work at all. But I also like, I don't know, take a kind of responsibility to try for myself. That's all I want to say now.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Oh, I just was thinking and very thoughtful suddenly, but then I was like, oh, we're recording video.
We're
I thought I
recording
was
a video.
just listening to you tell me about
I know,
things.
I'm sweaty and it's like going and that's okay, but thank you all for listening.
Yeah. I think I wanted to finish that off by saying, sorry, I'm like pointing a pen at you.
No, I like it. I have this. Like, this matches Joe's hair.
It
Joe's
does, like-
hair is chartreuse today.
I just dyed
It's
it.
stunning.
Anyways, so what I wanted to say is, like, there's, like, I also know for myself that quite often that's not, like, the in-person work with people of, like, standing up for my pronouns and giving a demonstration, that's not usually work that I can do. Like, that's work that my beast is a lot better, is, like, more equipped.
Ooh, can I say just politically enraged about, and, like, I'm so prepared to, like, charge the system with my sword and my shield, so.
Yeah, but I'm prepared to do that, too.
Yeah.
But in a different way. Like,
Absolutely.
I think I'm wanting to be like, transphobia is everywhere and it sucks. And, like, none of us should have to work so hard to fight against it. It's awful.
Yeah.
But, like, also, like, I think that there are all, like, little ways that we all do. And in that way, like, we're all together in it. Together, I guess.
Could I say something?
Yes.
Because I totally don't mean to be dismissive, or I'm not meaning to be this newly trans person who's like, activist, you have to activist. I'm merely wanted to bring that to the table because I battle transphobia in like an infinite number of ways, as we all do. But the thing that I can speak to at present in this moment is my recent shift of considering myself an ally to considering myself a part of the trans movement. And that's very new for me. And it just, it's just an entirely new vision. And I'm not meaning to be ableist and say, like, do the work. I guess I'm saying, like, I'm really privileged and I have a lot of angst built up that I'm, like, able to channel directly face-to-face and one-on-one. And that's, for me personally, like, for my life's work, I do the best operating in one-on-one conversations. So I just, like, I'm doing the work for us, like, one at a time, you guys. You folks. Fuck, I hate that word.
It's okay.
The end. I don't know. For me.
No, I appreciate what you said because, like, I think what you do is, that is equally as important. So I think what I'm wanting to say is, like, every little way that, like, you are trans, like, just being trans is, like, being a political revolution yourself. Like, embodying that because that's how, like, important it is and how much it matters that you exist and that you are trans. And, just being yourself and, like, despite all the transphobia that is everywhere, like, it's miraculous. And I hope you all know that.
Oh, me too. I, like, celebrate each and every single one of you that exists out there.
Oh, me too.
Absolutely.
So anyways.
So fuck transphobia.
Fuck transphobia.
I think that's great.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to say.
Bye, out of this binary.
Bye. See you later.
Goodbye.
Oh, I never said welcome to the weekend. But welcome to the weekend. You've made it. You did it. Welcome.
Welcome. I don't know.
I don't know either. We're trying to learn Swedish because we are in love with this wonderful person in Sweden named Lou.
What did Lou say? We're all fucked up in love about each other right now.
Fucked up in love
and Joe and I
about
are
each
running
other.
away to Sweden.
Yeah, yes.
Whoops.
It's fine. We are. In,
Yeah, we are.
Like
5 weeks-ish?
6 weeks-ish. I don't...
Soon.
I get so scared about going, but so
Yes,
excited.
Okay. I have to be done now.
I have to be done too.
Bye!
Okay.